We're going to start with the invocation. Robert Sharp is Cub Master. He's going to come up and he has his troop with him. And he'll do the invocation, and then we'll do the pledge. Y'all please stand.
Dear Lord, thank you for this day, and may your grace cover this meeting. We pray that all voices will be heard, and this will be a safe place for people to express their opinions. Please help guide our community leaders in the decisions that they make. Amen. Introduce two of the members of our pack, of our Cub Pack, Joel and Oliver. They will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Everyone, please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May everybody join me in the Texas pledge. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, and one and indivisible.
Thank you, boys. Quick announcement from the troop and pack level. We recently had a couple of our troop level scouts. These are cubbies, but they eagled here in this building. We had a ceremony for them, so those are our able boys. That's all I have for y'all.
Oh, good. Congratulations to them.
Thank y'all very much. Appreciate it. Group, y'all did a good job. Good job. Okay, going in with citizens' comments. Donna, you got it yourself. Yeah. So, oh, we cut you to a minute and a half. You're good.
I'm cutting half. Good evening, everybody. I'm Donna Hartman, 112 Great West Loop. And just a couple of things. I agree with Neil when you did your workshop on the name commission. I read through the whole description. I turned to Larry and I said, this sounds just like the planning and zoning. Are they overlapping? Why are we having two committees? And so I called Alderman Allen and she said, no, it's the same committee. So I agree, maybe let's define that a little bit better. Also, the 200 feet is a state law, but there's no reason, Stephen, that you can't go further. We used to. We drew the radius to do the area to define, and then we kind of went a little further if we saw a few more houses sticking out there. So just for your information. One of the things I know you didn't discuss in your workshop is Resolution 2512, which deals with forming an agreement with having a 911 commission. And I had checked with somebody about the COG about this, a good friend of mine, and right now our 50 cents that we put on our bills, you know, our cable bills when we get them, and it has that little 911 fee. I thought that went to our region, our area, our 911 system. I found out it goes to the state first, and so they take out some for the general fund and then pass on some to the COGS. And so this resolution is saying to form their own districts, so all 50 cents will come to our region. So I think it's a great idea. Also on the county agreement that you have before you, and I know y'all are going to take some extra time on that, if we can keep it, let's keep it. We don't want to give up any control. The cities are losing more and more control over what we can do for our own folks. So just let y'all know that. Also, I want to invite everybody, all the residents, we're going to do another meet and greet of our candidates. So mark your calendars. It's on a Monday, April 7th, the day before the council meeting. We're going to do it right here in the event center. It's going to start at 6 o'clock. We're going to do a little informal, just talking and visiting for a while. And then we're going to have it set up just like this is set up. And then we'll do our Q&As. And I know most all of you have been to them before. And so once again, we have Brother Jeremy, who is a fabulous facilitator that will facilitate the event for us. So anyway, there's lots of, we're putting everywhere we can, thank you, Nada, everywhere we can, we're putting message out that we're going to do that event. So we want to make sure that y'all knew about it. Mark your calendars and come out and meet the candidates. We have 7 people running for 5 positions on the city council. And then Jimbo, who is MIA tonight, anyway, Jimbo's unopposed for mayor, but he said he will come and join us and sit up at the dais with him so you can address questions. And there's probably very few people that don't know Jimbo, but just in case you don't, gives you a chance to ask Jimbo some questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. Okay, moving right along, now we're gonna go into the consent agenda. Do I hear a motion to accept MS 25003, consent agenda for the city council meeting of February the 11th? Do I hear a motion to accept?
I move to accept.
Second?
I second it.
Is there any discussion or amendments or adjustments? Anybody? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Okay, going into the, we're going to skip the next one, which is DSILA 1. That's the one we talked about right at the end of the workshop on the interlocal agreement, and move on to resolution 25008, which is a memorandum resolution authorizing signing primary and alternate Horizon Bank authorizations. So Dennis, I thought we talked about that, so
Yes,
you're going
sir.
to go ahead and cover it.
Yes, sir.
Finish it
It's
up.
just the reducing them from 8 down to 2 primary and 2 alternates for internal controls. And it's just one of many measures we're trying to implement to get things where they belong.
As a change to the city, it takes off all council people from.
It does, yeah,
And it takes off the mayor.
right. The
So-
people signing those checks are representing the activities behind those things. And if you're not a part of it, you're not a part of the policies and what have you. Plus also, you're the governing body, so you're signing checks here and you're overseeing it here. So it's kind of like, there's a little bit of a conflict there. So I think it's best if, and it would be something that we've got backups internally. So if I'm out or Mary's out, who's the primaries, then you have 2 people that can fill in to do it. So it should work.
Do we want to specify the folks that are going to be signing on this?
It is. It's actually on, no, well, the resolution actually has it on there. My name, it's got Mary, this is the
You've
resolution.
got the, okay.
Yes,
got
sir.
it, Okay.
So it's actually got all the names on there, and 2 of them with an asterisk means it's their alternates, so they won't be the primary
Make
signers.
sure the council knows that. Do you know the names? Y'all have it?
Yeah, and
It's in our packet.
Camille, if we can make sure the names are in the minutes. It doesn't have to be on the agenda so much because it's on the resolution, but let's get it in the minutes. Okay.
That's it, sir.
Okay, do I hear a motion to accept RS 25008, which is the resolution authorizing the signatures at Horizon Bank? Is there a motion to accept that, please?
Motion to accept.
I'll second.
Second? Any discussion? I think we've talked about it already. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, next one, resolution RS 25009. We had discussed this in our workshop also about authorizing the city manager to be authorized official for the grant for some, for you, Matt, you want to come on, tell them one more time what it is? Not all the folks were here at the workshop, so this way they have an idea.
Good afternoon or evening. So we previously entered into a grant, applied for a grant for portable radios. It's a justice assistance grant through the governor's office. It's a competitive grant. We applied for 30,000 and some change originally, and that number through the competitiveness was reduced to about 14,000 and some change. We had a resolution that was entered into that with our interim city manager, Uriah Nelson from Sitcog. Before we can expend those funds and get reimbursed for those funds that we expense under that grant, they're asking that we update the resolution with our current city manager's name and signature or authority, and the amount that was actually given instead of the original request, the actual awarded amount.
Thank you, sir. Do I hear a motion to accept RS 25009?
I'll move to accept.
And second?
I'll second.
Clint, second. Any discussion, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes on that. Next one is resolution 25010. That is to consider memorandum and resolution accept resignation of Justin Strawn from planning and zoning. Do I hear a motion to accept that, please?
I'll make a motion to accept it and to declare the position vacant.
Second,
Second.
Dorothy and Roxanne. Okay, any discussion on that?
Just like to thank Justin for his service.
Okay, anything else? We appreciate that, and all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, Resolution 25001, memorandum and resolution authorizing the creation of a Central Texas 911 Emergency Communication District. Dennis?
Yeah, just to add something else to Donna's comments, this is, when you're looking at planning, having the state take the money and redistribute, it's awful hard from an executive level to plan with certainty. So this will bring about more certainty for the COG moving forward. Definitely something that highly recommend being on both sides of the county. I can tell you it's something that's needed, and it will serve the county well, or this, I should say, the COG well. It's not just us. Yeah, us too, yes.
Do I hear a motion to accept RS 25011, considering the memorandum?
Make a motion to accept.
Second,
Second.
any discussion?
Yeah, I have just a couple of questions. I did talk with our chief of fire department about this, and he was pretty excited. I just was wondering if this becomes a district instead of a city, do we keep the name Morgan's Point Resort Fire Department? Do we?
No, this is not the same thing I think you're
It's not?
referring to.
Okay.
Yes, I don't, I'm not in your head, but I think this is going to, on their cell phones right now, on your bills, they're charging 50 cents. And that money goes to state, and it gets distributed by the state as they deem appropriate.
So this isn't.
This is this is
not
nothing to
that.
do with
Okay.
fire or
Thank you.
police, ESD,
Okay.
nothing like that.
Okay. Just was wanting to make sure we aren't gonna,
No.
I wanted to see all the ramifications.
It's really
Okay.
kind of the dispatch, the
Yeah.
way I understand.
And it's a regional Central Texas 911 Emergency Communications District now. And so they'll get those funds instead of the state. We'll get dollar for dollar what's owed, so to speak. And then they can plan better moving forward on how to use those dollars instead of just waiting to see what the state does.
Okay, thank you.
Motion on the floor, and all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, next one, ordinance 25001. Excuse me, talked about this in the workshop. It basically has to do with some definitions and verbiage. Do I hear a motion to accept OR 25001?
Stephen, did you want to talk about
I do actually.
Do we accept it, and then then we'll have discussion?
discussion?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I'll move to accept ordinance 25001.
in a second.
Yeah, I'll second it.
Okay, now discussion. Now we have discussion. Yeah. It's on the table, so we know what we're talking about, okay?
Well, just looking at the two options, I mean, my opinion is pretty clear. We need to keep as much property as we can. I did like a little pros and cons list to pass out, just so a couple of you guys could see it, but I think it's pretty important just to realize that, yeah, if we're gonna incur a cost probably with maintenance, right? We could.
Yeah, I don't think we're on that ordinance, are we?
No.
That item was tabled. That's the ILA.
Right.
And that's been tabled. This is actually OR 25001,
Oh,
dealing with.
Sorry.
Basically, it had to do with the
Number 7.
Oh,
It's number 7.
number 7, that's what we're
OR
on.
25-00.
001, yeah.
Considering ordinance approving minor adjustments to chapter 14, section 23, zoning commissions in 24.
Right.
And so that's in 23.4, it talks about, I'm sorry, you're right, Dennis, that was my bad.
Oh.
23.4, it talks about the distance, and I think adjusting the distance, maybe doubling it up like Colleen to 400 feet, might be suffice.
We're on the general discussion that we were gonna,
24.3, I'm sorry, I was reading something when we started talking about this.
okay.
Trying to get my thoughts together.
So the question
My
is,
apologies.
we're discussing the 23 and 24.
Correct.
There were two things that were brought up during the workshop.
The
One was adding in 23.4 that the Planning and Zoning Commission would address issues that impact the comprehensive plan as directed by council.
Right.
And the other one that Stephen wanted addressed was in
The
20
distance,
notification,
24.3.
okay, to notify residents of a zone.
Right, okay.
200 feet now, and it's been 200 feet, and evidently that's the state law. But Dennis said that we could expand that if we wanted to. So,
You just can't go less, but you can definitely make it bigger. I think that's what Neil was saying. Killeen, they do 400, but you can change it. You can make it whatever you want. It's
I
really,
think it makes sense to, 200 feet is awfully small.
Really, I mean,
So,
Especially in our
what's,
city.
especially, yeah, what's reasonable?
that's why I brought it up, because
I agree with 400 feet. And then I also would like to recommend, we're going to have to make an amendment to this motion now, but I'll just do it this way. I'd like to make an amendment to the motion on the table, and I would like to add in the section 23 commission, in parentheses, put in planning and zoning, so it's clear to people what's in there. Then I would like to also add the section at 23.4, the line item as directed by council. And I would like to add or change the 200 feet of any property to 400 feet. So that's my amendment.
Amy, you got all that? Okay. Is that agreeable to everyone? Oh,
That, I'll second that motion.
okay, okay. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes on that. If folks, that kind of pretty much ends our agenda here. We're going to do a little update right quick, but to let you know, we are going to have a adjourn to executive session. Right, that's what we're going to do. We're going to adjourn into executive session after we finish up right here. So the city manager is going to come up with city updates right now. So just kind of give you an idea. And at that time, we'll adjourn.
thank you, Mayor, City Council. I'm going to highlight some things, but I'm going to go rather quick, and I'm just going to point to some staff members who've been involved in it in more detail than I have. But the bottom line is we'll start with FEMA. And Nida, just real quick, just where you're at, just give us.
Thank you.
Thank you. So FEMA reimbursement, everything's been submitted to them. There was a little question about some of the calculations. They worked that out. But long story short, we're done with our part of it unless they change it. And they're coming to do the walkthrough. That's also the time we should be able to get that, the FEMA site, the pit, if you will, released back to us to do what we need to do. Cirrus invoice, that's one of the things where we had held up. I talked to you last time. That's been completed. The elevated storage tank, the closing valve issue has been resolved, and it's been, it closes, I think he told me like 20 seconds and it closes. So that issue has been resolved to our satisfaction. The project was going to get closed without that, and then I think we could have very easily ended up like some cities where we just live with something that's really not functional, but it worked out just fine. So, we're pleased. We're working on closing out that contract. Finance, monthly financial.
Operational?
It is operational.
Operational.
Yeah. It's actually functional. Yeah. Is there anything that's not working on that right now? Is everything up? Okay. All right.
Fantastic.
And of course, the monthly reports, I want you to know that moving forward, we're all working from the same baseline. You'll see changes in them as time passes, but you'll always just be able to track it and say, okay, we see where they're going and why. You'll be part of those decisions on some of those because it's outside my office. Quarterly investment reports, we did get an RFQ response. Not a very good one. It's out of state for one. That's where they're based out of. And two is there was a lawsuit involving, it wasn't a large sum of money, but it's, long story short, I'm not comfortable with the one that came through. So I'm going to ask.
Which RFQ is this?
It's for the investment advisor. I'm sorry. I'm looking at it. I should have just said it. Yeah.
I thought that's what you
Yeah, the investment advisor. So we'll reissue it again. We don't know why a couple of them who were tracking with us that were planning on submitting RFQ responses didn't do it. So we're going to reach out to them and try to give it one more shot. But this will be the third time it goes out. But it's so important. So right now, the everything that you know that existed last year where the money's at in Horizon, it just stays where it's at. We're not getting ahead of ourselves. We really need to get this person on board. And so we'll send out the third time, see where it goes. Talked about the pit being released. Once that's done, we'll start the curbside pickup and give us, get that moving again. Fiscal year single audit. I was told that the city didn't know that they were supposed to do one back in during the fiscal year 24 time period. It was, really should have been done before March 31st. It wasn't. Long story short is we notified the governor's office, who told us that it wasn't done. And we let them know, yes, and these are the circumstances. We gave them a little bit of a history. And we also gave them what we have done by entering into an audit engagement letter for the single audit. We also loaded up, sent all the documents to the auditor. And what else was there? Oh, well, and we got another meeting, but that's on both audits. But we've also reached out to Brooks Watson to make sure that we're finishing up on the fiscal year 23 regular audit, because you can't do the single without the financial statements. So that's kind of like the position we're in. That said, everything's been loaded up. The state could have put us on a vendor hold. They haven't. So they did thank us for sending the stuff to them. So that's good. So right now, nothing, we got a temporary hold. It was something that we didn't do wrong. They just didn't see it. They got it, and that was on another issue. But a vendor hold basically means no payments, no grants, no nothing until that matter is resolved. They haven't done that to us on this particular issue. I'm hoping they don't, but we are moving forward, and hopefully that gets resolved sooner than later. Comprehensive plan, quick update. And what our goal is like you all decided last meeting, was to get it and forward it to P&Z and let them start working chapter by chapter. That's still on our plan, but we need to get the final product, get the contract closed out, and that's what our goal is. Representative Buckley's office did send a request to have us get a zip code. That still has not went through. There's a lot of things going on in Washington right now, so it's probably not a priority. So we'll see how that goes. The Sears contract that you all said to go ahead and award, we did execute it. Remember, we did not do that before because we still had outstanding invoice one that there was some controversy about, because Temple Landfill charged them more than what they quoted them. Long story short, it got worked out. Both the vegetative debris collection process that's done by Cirrus and the monitoring contract has both been executed. So if we get ourselves in a pickle again with a storm coming through, it's none of this stuff. We literally pick up the phone, we give them a notice to proceed, and they're up and running. Once council says, yes, move forward, here's the money, move forward. That's how fast we can move next time around. We should have had them, but we got it where it needs to be now. CIP strategic session, you all went on February 22nd. And we've got some work to do. We're going to bring back a capital improvement program based on that. And then TxDOT sidewalk, the advanced funding agreement was issued. And so that's moving forward. It's at the state level. They've got the engineers. They'll end up letting the project, I'm assuming, in October. That's the last date I was given. Master service agreement, which is basically an all-encompassing agreement. When we get these big contracts, we want some of the protections that it offers. We got that built in there, and we're using that, so that was a good thing. Stormwater engineering services, the RFQ went out. We've got like 6, I believe, that responded, more local, so that's good, instead of having someone out of town. It's not saying they're not competitive. It's ultimately what you're going to decide as a council which one to award that to. We'll be evaluating them and bringing our recommendations forward. Probably around the 8th April meeting. And the roadway plan, we did respond, the county did meet with us. They were supposed to provide a quote. There was a concern about when they would be able to get to this amount of work that we have. They said it would be July, so they didn't provide a quote. So we asked for a quote anyway, assuming July would be the time that they provided it, but they haven't received it as of the last time I talked to BJ. So what we're doing, we're sending out an RFP for the work to be done. In addition to that, we're looking at, especially crack sealing. That is a machine, BJ knows how to use it. Right now, between 2024 and 2025 and 2026 fiscal years, we're looking at about 100,000 just for crack sealing. We can buy a machine a lot cheaper than that and use staff and let them do it. I think it'd be much wiser. It is an important function, but I'm not sure spending 100,000 as the projected cost were in the plan is the best way to go for crack sealing. So that there may be something that we're going to be bringing to you all later on. It may be, I think we can get the machine for less than $25,000.
Is that something that we could rent to other communities and,
There's discussion. We went the intergovernmental roadway program that we're talking about. That's what they left out of the meeting, saying, we don't want to do that, but maybe we can start using each other's and bill each other's, provide an invoice for what work we do. So that is an opportunity, and they're looking at that as well.
pay for itself?
But that said, that's the only thing that I think really we don't need to be outsourcing. If we can, our second request, the crack sealing, which you'll see, it's not the prettiest thing in the world. Yeah, he's doing that now. Yeah,
Quarters and,
he's doing it now, but some of the potholes are not ours. They're like, if you come down, fly them multiple times, and he says there's some markings out there, so he's thinking maybe there's going to do something. They're going to do something. Well, but we're speculating. I don't know for sure.
wishful thinking.
Animal control mechanism we need for good accountability. In addition to that, to avoid the kind of problems we're experiencing today and have, I guess, for some time, we are getting everyone trained up. We call them touch points, and that everybody that touches the week or two, that person's out of pocket or whatever it may be. But so we are reallocating funding. I said that's the agreement we signed back in 2023. So it's not like a lot of places where they can provide. It's going to be good. It's a good investment, especially when our budget is loaded up in FundView. To say we're completely off of with this, so they'll. Nida's going to be looking at the contract, and she's going to make sure that there is nothing left, and we're leaving only on FundView. But the contract needs to be closed out properly, and that's the only lingering thing that I'm aware of.
So the balance sheets are all in,
Everything, well,
not just the budget.
no. That's two different environments. We got the FundView, but during 2023, 2024 fiscal year, you had two environments. So we still have access to that.
425. Pardon?
You can run those now through what she's saying is we loaded the budget, so we can have that 24, 25 ability, yes.
That's just operating statement. I'm talking about assets, liabilities.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I want to say, when I say we're done with Encode, I want to know that we backed out of that contract. We still have access to what we need for the contract exit.
Got it.
Okay. And then the last thing is we have an opportunity, I think I may have spoken to this before. There's a 60 days or so, 60, 90 days. Excuse me, from the Ladies Auxiliary, I believe 15, 20,000, that range. We have some grant funds set aside, contingency, that we can use for that purpose. Can use some of it. So I'll be bringing that before so there's nothing in the budget that, we got the money in the current existing budget to make this happen. It's a reimbursable. So we have to spend the money in order to get the money, the 100,000. Taryn says it's not anything we need to worry time. The county's 11,000 may or may not be available. That's something we just don't know. We're going to try to have a meeting on the 24th if at all possible. If we can make that happen, that will be one of the items, but it will be make sure that the funding's a fund grant, we should be fine. And that's what I was going to give during the workshop, but everybody's still here, so I guess we got.
All right, yeah, good information there. Moving right along, that's the end of our meeting right here, council. I'm gonna start with Dorothy.
Also, I would like to set up some type of workshop maybe in May, Dennis, where we update the 23-24 work plan, because we haven't done that in about a year and a half, and it should be done annually. That is what we gave you when you first came on.
Right. A lot of that is a work product of the city manager's office. I don't have any problem having a meeting. That's your all's decision, what have you. It's not truly a strategic plan in a sense. It's more of a to-do list.
Yeah, it's our goals and priorities of the city.
Yeah, by all means, it's your call. We'll get it scheduled. You all decide what you want on that. I'm just saying that I saw a lot of things in there that probably didn't belong in that, but it's something that a council in their evaluation process, it's more aligned for that kind of process. Your all's call how you do it. Doesn't matter to me either way.
And we had staff involved before. with
It did, yeah, but it's,
Had to approve the final project.
yeah, it's just, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying that my performance is based off of what you tell me that you want done. And that could be very well delineated in there. That's your all's call. What I'm saying that a lot of that stuff is more customarily handled through the council manager discussions and performance, and this is what we're looking for, what have you. You can do what you want.
But it's also
That's your
a
call.
tool So that the residents understand the direction that the city's going in.
Okay.
So-
As long as it's not, I guess,
We're putting in writing our commitment.
well,
We're gonna be
the only
working
thing I would caution the council not to do, and that is to use it to supplement the CIP program. That program is required for budgeting purposes. It's long-term strategic planning. I saw a little mixture of both in that other document. I would say keep them compartmentalized. It's your document, you do what you want. I'm
One's
just,
a 2-year or a year, and the other is, could be 10 to 20 years. The CIP plan.
all I'm asking is
One
that,
more short.
that's something that we'll bring. You all decide what you want to do. It's your decision. I'm just saying that keep your CIP program, the thing you just went through 2 weeks ago, don't lose sight of that because, well, and it's not really, in either case, that's it. We'll discuss it later, but we'll get it scheduled if that's what council wants us
I
to
think we're all
do.
on agreement. I think we're on the same wavelength.
Right. And then the new council will be on.
Right, the new council's gonna have to say so of that, so, that'll be involved, so.
Liz can set the priorities of the city. Okay.
Thank you, Dorothy. Roxanne?
Just thank you all for coming and welcome to our new staff. And we're really excited to have you. I mean, some of you are fairly, so we're glad for our staff. And so I appreciate all of you.
Weird.
Yeah, thanks for coming out, as always. We appreciate it. We're not very smart, but we like to tap your brains. Help us out. And do come to the meet and greet. I'm sure that there's going to be all kinds of interesting snacks and drinks and maybe dinner. I think I heard surf and turf or something. I don't know.
If you bring them.
If I bring them, yeah. Whoa, that's going to be a cold day in Texas. Yeah. But anyway, thanks a lot, guys. We appreciate it.
I'll just echo what everybody said. Excited about our new staff and our old staff, and it's a privilege to sit up here, and I'm just thankful for the opportunity that we've had, and to look forward to seeing what the future of Morgan's Point holds.
Oh, there's a coffee on Friday, and I'm the council person at the coffee.
There's a whole list of things coming up. I was just going to say
Good
that.
point.
Yeah, there's a coffee on Friday with,
Thank y'all for being here. We're going to adjourn and go to executive session prior to section 551.074 of the Texas Government Code. Has to do with personnel. So thank y'all for being here, and hopefully we'll get to see you again at the
Thanks,
workshop,
everybody.
town hall. Y'all hear me?